I figured we were due for an updated Q&A because the last one I did was well over 6 months ago. I posted a question box on my Instagram and you guys sent in lots of questions. I'm gonna try to do different questions than my last Q&A, but I apologize in advance if there's any repeat questions in here. And I figured while I answer all these questions, we can do some makeup. So let's jump right into it. First things first, I need to put my bangs in a roller because I don't want them in the way when I'm trying to do my makeup. And then I'm gonna clip these pieces back. Okay, first question is how to embrace that you're growing and becoming older. I actually think that this is a really good question because I feel like society makes it out to be like once you're 30, you're just ancient and old. As someone who is 28, I'm gonna be 29 this year, so I am approaching 30. I definitely think like back when I was younger, like when I was like 20, 21, like the thought of getting older and like turning 30 used to scare the shit out of me. As I've gotten older, I've just realized that one, aging is a privilege. Like it is a privilege to get to turn another year older. It is a privilege to be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years old. Like what a privilege it is to get to live that long. I just feel like with each year that we age, that's just a new chapter of life that we're opening and that we're getting to experience. And I just think that that's so amazing. How is running going? Any races coming up? So running has been honestly a little bit at a standstill. I completed my 10K at the end of the year in December, and I actually ended up having some pretty bad foot pain after the race. So I took like 2 weeks off to let my foot heal. And since then, I think I've gone on maybe like 4 runs. I really haven't been running that much. And honestly, I think it's because I'm not signed up for any races. Like I don't have any goals that I'm working towards. So it's definitely messing with my motivation a little bit because I'm a very goal-oriented person. And if I don't have something I'm working towards, I don't have a ton of motivation. I'm really considering signing up for a half marathon because I really want to complete that. That's one of my goals for 2025. I've just been being a little chicken about it and like holding off on signing up because it is not cheap to sign up for a race. It usually costs a couple $100s and I don't want to sign up for it and then like chicken out and not do it and like waste the money. So I'm not saying anything for sure, but I've definitely been thinking about signing up for a half marathon. I posted on my Instagram story that we purchased some books for our baby box, and this person asked, can we hear more about the baby box? So Brandon and I have this little box of stuff that we have started collecting for our future child, and it's literally just that. We have like some baby blankets, we have some books. Anytime we see something that we're like, oh, that would be so cute for our future child, and we really like it, we'll just buy it so that way we have it. And then we have a little collection of stuff that is waiting for us when we do have our first kid. I got a lot of questions about if we like living in Southern California, if we would ever move out of LA. We love living in Southern California and just California in general. We're originally from Northern California, so we have both been in California our whole lives. And we love it here, and we ideally would like to stay here. But I'm sure as a lot of you know, California is one of the most expensive states to live in, especially Southern California. We would love to buy a house here, but honestly, that doesn't look too promising, so we'll just have to see. We're not super sure where we're gonna end up long term, but ideally we would like to stay here if we can. But we're also open to moving to other states. This person asked, how many kids do you and B want? We're thinking 2, maybe more. Probably not, but at least 2. Any plans for more pets? I actually think it's super funny that someone asked this because I had posted this Q&A box before I had posted anything about our newest family member. But if you follow me on any of the other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, then I'm sure that you saw we got another cat. His name is Butter. He is also a ragdoll, which is what Jelly is. We knew probably like 3 months into having Jelly that we were gonna eventually want to get another cat, and we finally decided that the time is right, so we got another cat. He is a boy, and I fully understand the boy cat lore that everyone talks about. He is so cuddly. He is by our sides 24/7. He just wants to play. I feel like Jelly's very independent, and she is very cuddly when she wants to be, like it's on her own terms. But Butter, he would cuddle us all day if we let him. Like he is just such a lover. Also, random side note, I had posted on my Instagram story that I was looking for some makeup recommendations, and a lot of you suggested the It Cosmetics CC cream. I love this stuff. It is beautiful. I just applied it. It's beautiful. Would you ever consider dyeing your hair? I did consider dyeing my hair brown like 5 years ago, and I quickly got over that, but I have considered going strawberry blonde in the past. I think that would be really pretty. but I don't know if I have the balls to actually do it. How do you deal with hate comments? Love you, Queen XO. Love you too. I don't deal with hate comments. I am such a sensitive person, and I feel like people always say to like content creators and influencers, like, oh, you have to have thick skin, like it just comes with the job, you know, you're gonna get opinions and comments and you have to just deal with it. I won't say that my skin hasn't gotten a little bit thicker from doing this over the last few years. Like comments that used to bug me a long time ago, like when I first started, definitely don't bug me now. But I won't say that like my feelings don't get hurt. Like I take everything really personal, and I'm very sensitive. Like I will admit that I'm a very sensitive person, and so sometimes it's really hard. Like when people say stuff, I really take it to heart and I will like fester on it for days. Obviously, depending on what the comment is. Sometimes I get a comment, I'm like, that's like, I don't even care, that's stupid. But some comments definitely sting a little bit. Do you and B have any baby names picked out? Honestly, yes, but we're also not like super set on them. I've had a notes app on my phone for the last like 10 years. I'm sure a lot of girls can relate to that. And we've just, every time we hear a cute name that we like, we'll add it to the notes app, but we're definitely not like dead set on anything. So who knows what our baby will be named. Advice for being confident in your own skin. PS, love your videos, been a fan for a few years. Thank you so much, I really appreciate that. I think this is a great question because learning to be confident in your own skin is honestly not an easy task. I used to be probably one of the most insecure people you would have ever met in your life, and now I would consider myself fairly confident. And honestly, I think the main reason that I was able to grow to be confident, I came to the realization that you cannot hate yourself into a version of yourself that you like. And that was one thing that I learned in my eating disorder recovery, was that being hateful to yourself gets you absolutely nowhere. And I'm not saying that you can't not like things about yourself or want to change. Like I definitely think it's good to want to change and grow and become a better person and, you know, get healthier or change your hair or whatever it is. I don't think there's any issue with like wanting to change something about yourself, but I think it's the way we treat ourselves in the process. Just because you don't like the way that something looks on yourself, or you don't like the way that you are with certain things, that doesn't mean you have to bully yourself to try and better yourself. And once I made that connection that like I don't have to be an asshole to myself and I can actually be my biggest fan while also trying to grow and be a better human being and change things about myself, that was really when my confidence skyrocketed. And one of my favorite reminders when I'm being mean to myself is asking myself if I would ever speak to someone else like that. And if the answer is no, then why on earth would I speak to myself like that? Why on earth would I say those things to myself if I wouldn't say them to someone else? How did you do so well snowboarding as a beginner? I went recently and it was rough. So if you haven't seen any of my videos recently, Brandon has been teaching me how to snowboard. We have gone 3 times this season. And honestly, I think I've made a lot of improvement. And honestly, it's all thanks to Brandon. He has been teaching me everything that he knows. I think the best piece of advice I could give if you're trying to get better at snowboarding is just buy a season pass and go. Invest in the gear, buy a season pass and go. It sounds so cliche, but the only way to get better at something is by practicing. So if you go once in a season and you never go again, you're not going to get better. And that's what my issue was I had gone snowboarding before in the past, but I would go like once every 5 years and I wouldn't get any better because I was going once every 5 years. And I will confidently say that snowboarding is probably one of the hardest things I've ever learned to do. It is so difficult, it's so humbling, but I promise if you keep going consistently and you're practicing, one day it's gonna click and you're gonna be like, oh, like I'm getting it, and you're just gonna improve from there. What are your tips for getting out of a funk? I'm in a major one right now. I actually really like this question because I feel like I deal with falling into a funk probably like once a month, usually around the time of my luteal phase. And honestly, the main things that make me feel better are getting up, getting ready, keeping myself on a routine, getting some exercise in, just honestly doing the things that you don't want to do when you're in a funk. And I know that that's not the answer that you want to hear, but I really feel like keeping myself on a routine, getting myself ready for the day, going and getting exercise, getting things done, cleaning my house, those things really, really help when I'm in a bad headspace. Also, getting off of social media. Social media is the absolute worst thing for me when I'm in a funk. Like if you are feeling funky and not fresh, get off social media. But also too, I want to add that it's also okay to just like rot and veg and let yourself relax if you're in a funk, but don't do that for too long because then it can spiral into just like being depressed, which is not great. Do you guys plan on taking any fun vacations this year? We have a couple trips planned for work actually. We're going to Vermont in just a few weeks, and then we're also going to New York and Boston. Like, so we're going to the East Coast a lot this year. We don't have any plans to go out of the country, but I actually am starting to look into planning a trip for next year. I really want to go on an African safari. Like, that is one of my bucket list trips, and our friends just went and they were telling us about it, and they were like, it's one of the most amazing things we've ever done. So I was telling Brandon, I really think I want to start like planning that out. So I think we're gonna aim to maybe do that next year. Do you have any fears surrounding having children? Honestly, my only fear is fucking them up and like not doing a good job and not being a good mom. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I know Brandon is gonna be the best dad ever because he's just an amazing human being and he's so good with kids. I doubt myself because I know I have flaws. I'm impatient, and a lot of times I like worry that I'm not like motherly enough. But a lot of women say that that comes, you know, once you have kids, those instincts really kick in. I'm also a little scared of childbirth. Like, I've heard there's so many things that can go wrong, so that's definitely a little bit of a fear. What is your biggest relationship advice for being besties, not just partners? Honestly, I'm not... Jeez. Honestly, I'm not sure if I know how to answer that because Brandon and I just love hanging out together. I think sometimes people just get caught up in like the lust part of the relationship and like how they think a marriage is supposed to look in terms of like loving each other, which like all of that stuff is important, but I really think the foundation for a good relationship is being friends and just having fun together. Like, Brandon is my favorite person to spend time with, whether we are sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing or we're like going out and doing something fun. So if you're struggling to connect with your partner on like a friendship level, then maybe just like plan some fun activities to do together that doesn't have anything to do with like being romantic and all that. Like I said, yeah, being romantic and dating and all that is important, but I think the foundation of your relationship should be being friends and enjoying each other's company. So maybe just plan some fun activities for you guys to do where you can really connect on that friendship level. How long have you and B been together, including before marriage? So April 23rd of this year, we will have been together for 13 years, which is so crazy. We started dating when we were sophomores in high school. We were both 15. And we're gonna be 29 this year. And it literally, like, if I talk about it for too long, I will cry. Not me getting emotional over my anniversary. Why am I literally crying? I just love my husband so much. I love him so much. Why am I literally getting emotional talking about it? We've just been through so much, and like, I truly think that we have saved each other. I'm dying over me like getting emotional. We started dating so young as just like kids that were going through a lot of trauma, and I'm just so grateful to be on the other side and have each other. I just love him so much. How do you get out of a reading slum? I want to read but no motivation. I really struggle with having motivation to read, which is funny to say as someone who loves reading so much. Audiobooks have changed my life. I love audiobooks because I feel like the reason when I struggle to find the motivation to read, I think a lot of it is because I don't want to, like, I can only sit down and focus on a book for so long, but I love with audiobooks, I can clean, I can color, I can go for a walk. Like, I can get ready and do my makeup. There's so many things I can do while I'm listening to an audiobook. And I will fly through books when I'm listening to them versus like physically reading them. Like, I just started a book yesterday and I literally finished it within like 12 hours because I was cleaning, I was working, I was doing my makeup. Like, I just listened to it all day. So if you're someone that wants to get into reading, but you struggle with like sitting down and actually focusing on a book like I do, look into audiobooks. Like, seriously, audiobooks changed my life. Also too, you can download the Libby app and get a library card, and you can borrow audiobooks for free, so you're not having to pay for them every single time, which I think is amazing. You and Brandon's life look so peaceful and intentional. What are your tips? I really like this question because I feel like I am a very intentional person, and I didn't used to be like that. Back in 2021, I sat down and I wrote out what I wanted my life to look like and what I wanted to do more of, and I just started working towards that and implementing that. So if you're someone who like wants to go on more walks, start going on walks. If you're someone who wants to cook more, start cooking. If you're someone who wants to read more, start reading. If you're someone who wants to change your style and start expressing yourself more, start slowly adding pieces into your wardrobe and donating your old clothes. Just really sit down and figure out what you want your life to look like and start working towards that. I still have the note in my phone that I wrote back in 2021, and I literally literally broke down piece by piece like what I wanted my life to look like, and I just started working towards it. And I will say you definitely have to be patient. Like your life is not going to change overnight, but when you start implementing little changes to start making your life look how you want it to look, over time, you will see the pieces start to come together. Also too, one thing that really helps is like scroll on Pinterest and like get inspired and just start planning your dream life. Like I feel like that sounds so cheesy, but like really, you have to just figure out what you want your life to look like and then start working towards it. Okay, I got a lot of questions regarding content creation, like how to start content creation, how to have the courage to post online when you're afraid. The best piece of advice I could give is ask yourself what kind of content you like consuming, because you probably would enjoy making that kind of content. So I loved watching vlogs and like outfit videos and cooking and all these different things. So I just started making those types of videos because it's super enjoyable for me. I will say though, if you want to get into content creation just for the money, you're probably going to get burnt out and want to give up really quickly, because I was making content online for years before I ever saw a penny. It's definitely something you have to work at for a really long time before you can start actually making like sustainable money from it. Also, another big tip I can give is when you are filming your content, do not use the front camera, use the back camera. The quality is way better. I edit on CapCut. I have CapCut Pro, and that is what I use for all of my videos. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything is CapCut. And just be yourself. I feel like that sounds so cheesy, but be yourself, have fun, and don't give a fuck about what anybody has to say. Like, don't give a fuck about what Cindy Lou Who from your hometown has to say about you creating content, because if she has anything negative to say about you, she's a loser. So focus on yourself, stay in your own lane, make your content, and have fun. Perks of marriage rather than staying dating. I don't know if there's necessarily any like perks. For us, nothing really changed because we were already living together and we had been together for so long by the time we got married. But I guess it feels more official that like him and I are family because we are married, we share the same last name. It also makes things easier in terms of like filing taxes and like your bank accounts and all that. Like things are just easier when you're legally married. But I definitely don't think being married really like changed our relationship overall. I think there's more just like financial benefits. Okay, makeup is done. I hate when I first take my bangs out of the roller because they're so like short, because they're so bouncy. Okay, even though I am done with my makeup, I still want to answer some more questions. So I'm going to try to rapid fire through some of these. Want any tattoos? No. I have 3 and I'm in the process of getting all of them removed, and I will never get another tattoo again because I'm too indecisive and I cannot go through more tattoo removal. Did you and Brandon go on a honeymoon? If so, where? Hawaii. His family is from Hawaii, so we went there. The first week we went to Maui, and then the second week we went to Oahu, and we just stayed with his mom because she lives there. What's your favorite book of all time? I don't know. That's too hard. I don't know. I have a lot of books that are like up there for me in terms of like how much I loved them, but I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I really loved The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I loved Verity. I know there's a lot of Colleen haters out there, but I thought Verity was so good. I love a lot of Frida McFadden books. Lake of Lost Girls is another really good one. I don't know. I'll put some of my favorite books on the screen, but I don't know if I could pick just one. Did you have any trouble with Jelly and your dogs interacting when you got her? A little bit. Like, Jelly was definitely afraid of them. Like she kept hissing at them and stuff. So we tried to just keep them separated. It was hard because Sky really wanted to like mother her and just like clean her and like treat her like her little baby. And Jelly was like, what the fuck, get away from me. So it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I want to say within like a couple weeks, they were besties, and now Sky and Jelly are like absolutely obsessed with each other. But I think if you are bringing a new animal into the home, whether it's a dog, a cat, whatever, just know that there will be an adjustment period. And if your animals are not getting along, just know that that is probably temporary. I know there are some animals that never learn to get along, but I feel like that's not always the case. So just remember, it's temporary, take it slow, give them their space, and just be patient. What's the best way to discover my personal style without breaking the bank? I love yours. Thank you so much. A lot of people think to like change your wardrobe, you have to get rid of everything and just like buy a ton of clothes at once. No. What I would suggest doing is go through your closet, figure out what pieces you actually really love, and then slowly start adding new pieces to your wardrobe. Slowly. That's the key to like not breaking the bank, is slowly adding pieces that you like. I definitely would suggest investing in like quality pieces, and I'm not talking like going out and spending $400 on a pair of jeans, but maybe buy like a pair of jeans from Abercrombie that's like $100. All of my Abercrombie jeans I've had for years and they're still in great quality. So definitely investing in pieces that aren't going to deteriorate fast, and just slowly start buying pieces that you really like and you feel like are more your personal style. I definitely wouldn't suggest like going with the trends, because trends cycle so fast and you don't want to buy a bunch of clothes that's trendy and then in 6 months you don't like it anymore. And a great place to discover what outfits you like is Pinterest. Just literally go on Pinterest and type in like outfit ideas and just pin outfits that you really like, and then try to buy pieces similar to that over time. Tips for finding the motivation: working out, cleaning, putting on a cute outfit. I feel like this is not going to be the answer that you want to hear, but I'm a very like tough love person. You have to just get up off your ass and do it. Just do it. And it's okay to not be, you're not gonna be motivated, so don't rely on that. Rely on discipline, and just know that when you do those things like getting dressed, cleaning, working out, you are going to feel so much better afterwards. And that's what I always remind myself when I don't want to do something. I know I'm gonna thank myself later. And don't get me wrong, like I don't have this just underlying discipline that never goes away. I definitely have days where I'm like, I'm not gonna run, or I'm not gonna clean, or I'm gonna lay on the couch and raw all day. I definitely have those days, but I definitely think it's a balance, and I try to be disciplined, I would say like 85 to 90% of the time. And I will say, as you do things that you don't want to do, if you start to do them on a consistent basis and be really disciplined with yourself, it will start to become second nature to you, and then it just becomes a habit. And then once it's a habit, it's really not that daunting because you're so used to doing it. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much if you guys took the time to send in a question. I'm so sorry I could not get to all of them, but I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.